So there's big news after the legalization of marijuana in California. Obviously, that was huge news. It happened on the first, and California became the sixth state to legalize marijuana. And there are actually more on the way. In response to this, Attorney General Jeff Sessions has decided to roll back an Obama-era policy that actually would give states the ability to allow marijuana for recreational purposes. So now this is from The Hill. Two sources with knowledge of the decision confirmed to that publication that Sessions will rescind something called the Cole memo, which ordered U.S. attorneys in states where marijuana has been legal to deprioritize prosecution of marijuana-related cases. So now Sessions said that future prosecutions would be up to individual U.S. attorneys. According to Politico, the announcement appeared intended to discourage marijuana-related businesses by being deliberately vague about future federal enforcement efforts. Now, the effort will likely further muddle the legal status of marijuana for states that have passed legalization, allowing people to grow, buy, or use pot. So what they're doing, basically, is an effort to, I think, prevent the pot lobby from forming. I mean, look, right now it's $1 billion business, right? You got hedge funders, entrepreneurs that want to get in. I mean, it makes sense, right? Once that lobby gets big enough, it's over. It's over. Marijuana is going to be legal. And here comes Jeff Sessions saying, hold on there a minute. I want to actually prevent it by making these rules super, super vague. Now, the good news from my perspective is I don't think they'll actually be able to do it. I think that these businesses will take a calculated risk because of the potential for profit. There is gold and then there are leaves, right? They already see that potential for profit. And I think this is Jeff Sessions' last stand against legal weed. Again, 6 states, more on the way. I don't think he's going to be successful in the long term at stopping this. And here's why. The Hill notes that some industry analysts peg the North American cannabis market at $10 billion in annual sales. $10 billion. That is a lot of money on the line. You think that Jeff Sessions making these rules a little unclear? You think that's going to do anything? I don't think so. I mean, maybe they might slow it down, but I think the marijuana fight is essentially over. They just don't know it yet. But see, public opinion is on our side. Business is now getting on our side. And so when you have those two things, popular opinion plus corporate interests, well, look, corporate interests means there's going to start greasing politicians. Those politicians, that are going to be funded by the pot lobby, they're going to be like, okay. Now, right now, one industry that's standing in the way is the alcohol industry. They're actually one of the biggest losers here. And why is that? It's because when people smoke marijuana, they generally tend to drink less. And I'm not just saying that. There's actually studies that show this. There's one, according to a working paper by researchers at the University of Connecticut and Georgia State University, found that alcohol beverage sales fell by 15% following the introduction of medical marijuana laws in a number of states. Now, this is just medical marijuana. This isn't even recreational marijuana. Now, the study concludes that we find that marijuana and alcohol are strong substitutes for each other. Meaning, if there's legal weed, people would rather go and smoke marijuana. If marijuana is not legal, they find that people will gravitate towards alcohol instead. Now, they continue. Counties located in medical marijuana states reduced monthly alcohol sales by 15% after the introduction of medical marijuana laws. So that's why they are so against this, and that these alcohol lobbyists are pushing people like Sessions to go and be have more enforcement from the federal level on these states. So like, we need to stop legal pot because it's actually destroying our bottom line. It's destroying our business. So if we want to continue doing business, then we're going to have to take on marijuana. We cannot let them grow too large because they're going to come after our bottom line. That's what this is all about. That said, I think they're too little too late. There's already this momentum that the marijuana legalization movement has that has already been built up. And there's so many successes that have been had already. Colorado, Washington. I mean, look, the Colorado, I believe either the governor or attorney general, he's like, no, we're not actually going to change our enforcement policies at all. So, no, we're not changing a damn thing. Legal marijuana is here to stay because it's a huge, huge business. And again, California, so goes California, so goes the rest of the nation. This is not going to stop this. And by the way, marijuana legalization is far more than just about smoking weed. I've never smoked pot in my life. I'm 100% for legalization. Why? Well, number one, there's a ton of benefits. There's a few downsides as well, just like anything else. But there's a lot of medical benefits to it that I've read about. But I think the biggest reason personally for me is mass incarceration for nonviolent drug crimes. We need to end that mass incarceration. There are too many people, especially African Americans, minorities, that are arrested. And look, white people and black people do marijuana about the same rate. Yet African Americans get arrested about nearly 4 times more, about 3.73% times more than white people, and they're put into jail. In which, when they're put into jail, by the way, they end up doing essentially what is slave labor for corporations. That's an insane system. So, yes, we've got to stop that. And I think legalizing marijuana is actually going to do a lot. Is it going to end mass incarceration completely? No, of course not. They'll find some other way to throw people in prison. But right now, this is one of their main things. The drug war is one of the main ways that they use to arrest millions of people and keep them in prison and keep that recidivism rate up. So this would do a lot to help end that problem. And so, look, Jeff Sessions, he's going to do what he's going to do. He's going to try to stop this in its tracks, but I think ultimately at the end of the day, in the long term, he was going to be unsuccessful. Legalization is still going to happen across the country. 10 years. I give it 10 years. And then we will see finally the end of this ridiculous prohibition on marijuana. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.